Hello and welcome to another Tabitha's Glass Emporium YouTube video. Today again we're using 90 glass. We're looking at pressing some 90 landscape lines together to form little pattern bars which we then cut up and made into this jewellery. The joy of this is how thin the glass ends up. So jewellery, particularly fused glass jewellery, can be a bit heavy and bulky, whereas this is very light and easily to wear or worn. Myself personally, I find wearing heavy earrings impossible to wear, but because these have very little meat to them, they are very light and it means they're easily worn. We then slump the jewellery to make them into these different kind of organic shapes, which gives fused glass jewellery a kind of more three-dimensional feel rather than it being kind of totally flat. So today I'm going to show you how to make these. So for this we're just using landscape lines and I'm just literally putting them together. They're going to all be kind of squashed together anyway, but I want to get a sort of bit of texture on them. I'm hoping they'll kind of squash out as well as along so that I get a bit of width in the project, so I got enough width to create maybe a necklace and some jewellery. And then these are kind of our rainbow landscape lines that I'm going to use to create a different, and we'll do those together. I mean, I could have chosen, maybe I want to go blue to blue, red to red, blue to blue, so it's like that, or the other way, I don't know. I'm going to do it this way and try it. And then I want to do one which has got a landscape feel, so it's a sort of stormy sunset. Not quite sure how this is a stormy sunset, but bear with me and try and get on board with my imagination. And then a bit of lighter seas, and then a bit of sand, and then I'm doing a double. This is a bit thin, those ones. Just realised I put that a little bit close to the other one, a bit close to the edge, so I'm going to pull that away. So those are going to go in the kiln, and we're going to press them and see how they are when they come out. So just to explain the glass pressing process, unfortunately we didn't film this when we were making them, so I'm just doing an example here that we can just put in the video so you guys know how. So imagine your glass is in the kiln. This is just some scrap hollows we have. You put it, you want a freshly washed kiln shelf. I'm sorry I didn't have time, but I would normally use a freshly washed kiln shelf. I would then use thin fire, and then you've got a freshly washed kiln shelf that you're going to put that way in. So that's the unwashed, that's the washed side, and you're putting the freshly washed kiln shelf in. Now you want the weight. This one's actually quite a light kiln shelf, so I probably wouldn't use it for pressing because I like the weight for it to go really thin. If yours doesn't go thin enough the first time, you can always put some extra weight, some bricks or other kiln furniture on top, or another kiln shelf to give you the extra weight to press it, or you can go to a higher temperature. Those are your two options. Sometimes in some kilns, and my big kiln that's not here at the moment, I literally can't press glass really, really thin, and it just doesn't do it. I don't know why. I've tried, I've gone different temperatures, I've gone hotter, and it just doesn't work. So you need to experiment. But the simple way of doing it is this. Now, if you want to keep your glass, I go really, really thin wafers, but if you want to keep your glass a little bit thicker, you can always use some kind of limiter to stop it going really thin. So like stainless steel washers or bits of stainless steel dams, or even bits of dams which are whatever depth you want. As long as you place those evenly around the kiln, that will stop your glass going very, very thin. So that is the best way of doing it. So here they are out of the kiln. I haven't washed them or anything because I'm going to take them straight to the sandblaster, and I don't want to take wet stuff to the sandblaster. If I didn't have a sandblaster, I would just hand pad. I'd give them a wash and hand pad any of the residue off the back. So you can do that instead. So I'm going to do that now and then have a look and think about how to cut them up into jewellery shapes. So we realised we forgot to film the glass when it came out of the kiln all nicely pressed. We were so excited with how lovely it looked, we cut it up without showing it to you. Bam! So effectively we took the glass out of the kiln, and it was really pretty. And then we cleaned it up, so I sandblasted it because I have a sandblaster, but you can use a diamond pad with some water and just carefully clean it up. Or just scrub it or soak it in vinegar and clean it up like that. And once we had it nicely cleaned, then we had a look. And I've got this slab of glass that I was sort of thinking about for another project. Got a slab of glass, and then I want to think about what shapes. Now, you can get these things, and you can get ones with even better shapes. I can only find my hexagon one at the moment. And you can think about, you can put it around. You probably don't want to go right dead in the middle. You maybe want to start at the edge and go, oh, that's quite nice. You've got a bit of a twisty cane there, a little bit of flower, and I quite like that shape. And then actually over here I could fit in another one. So that's one way, or you can just go, oh, I want sort of a shape like this here, using up this and this bit of twisty cane. So this is what you kind of want to look at your slab of glass and think whether it, whichever technique. This is going to be a slotted video for about 3 of our videos because we forgot to do it for 3, sorry. So you want to look at the piece of glass and go, where do I want my jewellery? Do I want it on a straight? Do I want it a bias? Do I want it straight on? How do I want it to look? Once you've drawn the pieces on, then you need to cut it. Now, for the pressed glass, we tried scoring it and cutting it, and that really didn't work that well. I'm afraid it just seemed to break off at angles. It might be that mine wasn't annealed. In your schedule, I have put an anneal in, which hopefully might help it, and you can try and score it and cut it, and so it might be easier. If not, the best results we had were on the Taurus saw, or you can try on another saw. We tried on the tile saw as well, but even that I found it broke up a lot. The Taurus saw was best. But if you don't have a Taurus saw, you can just score and break it into random shapes. I then ground those random shapes. The one that broke apart and didn't really work well, we then, worked into shapes. We worked into whatever shape we had available there and made them into really nice jewellery. So that's the idea. You're going to clean it up, decide what shapes you want, or just break it up randomly and use it and get your shapes, and then you can work out how you can make those into different pieces of jewellery. So here are these ready. I also now want to put them in the kiln to do some slumping because I'd rather have a 3D than a sort of single dimension piece. Got various different options. I could use some fibre paper and just put fibre paper underneath to give an organic slump. I've also got these serpentine formers, large and small. I'm planning on definitely with some of the triangles curving it over so it curves round. I might also with serpentine moulds I can go like this and it will give it a kind of wave. So I'm going to put these in the kiln, slump them in various different ways, and we can see how they look when they come out. The other thing is, because these are ground on the grinder, they're then porous. And I like the satin finish, but I need them sealed, and slumping them will help seal the glass and make them more wearable. So here they all are out, slumped. It's kind of always interesting slumping what shapes you get and then how to utilise those shapes. For instance, this one became quite a big bend, and so we've decided to have it as a sort of necklace that can sit sideways, which I think is really interesting, and the earrings work really well with it. We've done different things with different ones. There's a lovely little pendant there that's just a tiny little pendant to be worn. We really utilised every little bit of glass we had in these. We had a bit of trouble getting these to cut up and ended up with some quite small shards, but they still make really pretty earrings. And as I say, the thinness of them is the kind of what makes them so special, because they're so thin, they're very light and easy to wear. I think this has got great potential, this idea. Using our landscape lines, you get this wonderful texture. With this one, we cut it on the bias so that the lines are kind of running across the piece, which I think is also a really interesting idea that works. We have landscape lines in 90 and 96 available. We have a larger range of colours in 90, but we have a good range in 96 as well. And this is a great idea, just taking a few landscape lines, pressing them, and then using that piece of glass made to cut up into jewellery. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I think it's got a lot of potential. Please sign up to our various different ways to keep in contact. We have a link to our MailChimp, which is a great way. You'll hear about all the new videos coming out once a week and any new products. Also, subscribe to this channel is always the best way to get the new videos. We have our Facebook group, and even a new Facebook group where you can post what you're making with our products, and a Facebook page. I hope you enjoyed this. We've been really loving this jewellery month, and we will see you very soon for the next YouTube video.